Hello. I've been watching a lot of Phasmophobia live streams lately, and I noticed there's a lot of misinformation going around. So I thought I would make a very basics of Phasmophobia so that more people can play the game even on lower difficulties. There's a lot of guides for higher difficulties, but not many that go over the very basic stuff. Even though they did change the tutorial back in August, and it's actually very good now. So I want to show that. I don't think a lot of people have realized that the tutorial has been changed.
Welcome back.
The training.
Welcome to your first day at Ghost Hunting Distribution. Read the whiteboard to get started.
So literally, they just tell you exactly what you need to do. Here at the, it's a little bright. Here at the Ghost Hunting Distribution, we'd like to welcome you to our training facility. Grab a flashlight and use the use. Just right click by default, or special button if it's in your inventory. So if you like scroll or hit Q, you can go to the other item or your inventory, and you can turn the flashlight on and off with T. This is very important for when the ghost hunts. Get to that later though. You can cycle through your held items to change which one you're holding. You can carry 3 items at once. When you're ready, grab the key to the right and interact with the keypad. So you got to grab the key, which is just E, when you're looking at it, and then left click on the keypad. But also, while we're at it, I should note the cursor in the middle is very hard to see on the default settings. So I highly recommend going to the video setting. Is it in video or is it game? Game setting. And under cursor brightness, max it out. I don't remember what it is on default, but it's way too hard to see. So this is it. With it maxed out, you can see it much easier and you know where you're clicking. So then we move on to the next part of the tutorial. Your first goal when entering a haunted location is to find the ghost's favorite room. This is a room where the ghost will spend the majority of its time. To find the ghost room, look out for open doors, items that have been thrown, or sounds coming from the area location. So the open doors thing is kind of irrelevant on the higher difficulties because there's a chance that the doors will be open automatically. But on the beginner mode, which is what this is mostly for beginner difficulty, the doors will be closed by default. So if you see an open door, it's probably because the ghost opened it. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the room that the ghost is in, because the ghosts can walk around, but it's a very high indication that the ghost is in that area. It even says here, when playing on higher difficulties, ghosts can change their favorite rooms when they walk around, when they're wandering around, because the ghosts do wander around. The ghosts are actually there. Like, you can't see them, but they are walking around the house. So when they're wandering around, they interact with objects even outside their favorite room, which is why it's called the favorite rooms, because that's just the one that they're in most of the time. But they do roam around. And to open a door, you interact with it and move forwards. So again, by default, that's left click, but you have to hold it. Clicking on it does nothing on its own. You click, hold, left, right, left, right. Very simple. And this is room 1. So, interact, mouse 1. We go in here. Room 2. This is just like simulating a house. There's multiple rooms. Oh, you know what? I skipped room 1. Let's go back.
Head through the door to the next section.
Did I? No. Hello? So this is just practicing interaction with your mouse. So you know what to do. You can pick things up with E and throw them with G, which I assume it's going to get to that eventually. Anyway, so here we are. Sanity. Each investigator has their own sanity level represented in the truck by a percentage on the screen. And when playing in a team, you'll also have an average sanity level. Several things lower your sanity: standing in the dark, ghost events and abilities. So this part has been changed kind of recently with the sanity, standing in the dark. They changed. It used to be where, like, if you're in a room with a light on, but there's a dark corner, if you were in that dark corner, you would still lose sanity pretty quickly. But they recently changed it so that as long as the light is on in the room that you're in, your sanity will be basically fine. But if you're in a dark room, it'll drop very quickly. So you, honestly, this is like the best advice for Phasmophobia as a beginner player, is to always be in the light as much as possible. And whenever necessary, like, only be in the dark when you need to. You can restore sanity by using sanity medication. So try drinking one using a bottle below. It'll take a few seconds to replenish. Grab, so it does show you the keys here. I don't think I've changed any keys. So we're gonna grab it with E and then use it with right click. There's mouse too. You should see your sanity increase on the screen on the left. Sanity medication will have different amounts of restoration depending on the difficulty you are playing on. So right now it says here our sanity is 50%. It fluctuates a little bit, but it's about 50. We're gonna take this tier 1 sanity medication and it'll slowly go up.
Good job.
So I'm assuming this is beginner difficulty, in which what is it, 25% right there? Nope, 30%. $35? Does it actually? So it does about 40% sanity on beginner difficulty? I did not know that. That's insane. That's a lot. Lighting. To keep your sanity stable, you should stand in lit rooms or areas as much as possible. So I got a little bit ahead of myself. You can turn lights on using their switch. Aim at the light switch and then interact, which is again left click. Each location has a maximum amount of lights that can be turned on at once. If you exceed this number, the fuse box will trip and turn off every light. You can turn the fuse box back on by interacting with the switch. Try tripping the fuse box by playing with the lights to the right and then turn the fuse box back on. So this is important. When you turn on too many lights, your breaker turns off, and then the breaker is usually in the basement or the garage. Looks like this usually. Turn it back on. Get your lights back on. Too many and it breaks again. So again, the light system has been changed recently so that as long as the light is on in the room, you can still be in like a dark corner and you'll be fine usually. Okay, here we go. So here we have the EMF reader. In a normal contract, you will only need to find up to 3 evidence types. But for this training, we'll be showing you all 7. EMF spots are left behind on almost everything that a ghost interacts with. These hotspots last around 20 seconds and can be read with an EMF reader. So we're going to grab an EMF reader with E, turn it on with left click, right click, sorry, and then move towards the objects that a ghost has recently interacted with. Some ghosts will leave stronger EMF hotspots. If your EMF reader is displaying a strength of 5 or higher, this is evidence. Open your journal by pressing the journal button. Click the evidence tab at the top of the page and then mark EMF as checked. So I did change my journal button. By default, it is J. Oh, it's actually just shows the default keys. So it's J by default. I switched to tab because it's a lot faster for me. But it is J by default. And this is the tier 1 EMF reader, which you can buy in real life. Geistfield meter model 100X. Anyway, so we right click to turn it on. The switch will move. The lights will turn on. And When an object is touched, we'll get a response. This item, this is a fairly new version of the EMF reader, tier 1. They added tiers 1 to 3. The tier 2 was what we used to have. This is a tier 1, and a lot of people are confused because they see an EMF 4 reading and they think it's EMF 5. I think it.
Nice work.
Through this book. So that's EMF 4. It goes up to the 4. There's an EMF 3, 4. What was that? So the tutorial is just happy that you did it at all. I don't know if it's going to give us a 5, but when it goes to 5, it'll go all the way up to where it says high. That's still a 4. I would really like it if it would show us the 5. Because that's like the biggest issue people have. That's a 4 still. It's not gonna show us a 5, is it? Like, there's a lot of confusion with it. It's not giving us a 5. But anyway, like I said, the 5 will go all the way to the end beyond the actual letter 5 because it basically freaks out. That's still a 4. It's not going to give us 5, I don't think. So anyway, next is the Ultraviolet. Some ghosts will leave behind UV handprints on doors, windows, and footprints on the floor if they walk through well-placed salt. To find these, listen for paranormal interactions on those objects, then grab your UV light, activate it with use, right-click, and shine it around to see if prints have been left. If you find UV handprints or footprints, make sure to note them down on the evidence page in your journal. Lastly, if you shine UV light onto a print for long enough, it'll become charged, allowing you to swap to a camera to snap a quick photo for some extra cash. So we're not going to worry about the camera thing, but when you see these fingerprints, like this one, that's what it looks like, UV fingerprint on doors and stuff. That's ultraviolet evidence. It's the same thing with footprints. Right here. Same thing. That counts as ultraviolet evidence. I don't know why I crossed it off. It's pretty simple. If you hear a door get touched, you just walk up to it with a UV stick.
Well done.
And check for fingerprints. Or if you have salt, you can check for footprints when it gets stepped on. There is a ghost that does not leave salt at all, and that's the wraith, but not worry about that. Freezing temperature. Ghosts are known for making the area around them colder, but some types of ghosts will push temperatures below freezing. While navigating around a location, you may notice your breath being frozen in front of you, visualized by a cold cloud of air. If you find this, it may be worth checking the temperature of the room accurately. To do so, grab a thermometer, again, E, and we aim at it, and walk into each room and check the temperatures as they adjust. You're looking for anything below freezing, which is 0 Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit. You find freezing, mark it in your journal. So, freezing temperatures is actually one of the hardest to get after this patch. Partially because it's just very slow, even with the higher tier thermometers. Actually, the tier 1 thermometer is probably the best one. But you can see that the temperature is dropping here. The mercury is going down. But, like, I've played like 300 hours since the patch came out. With that updated, the freezing, how it works. And There has been dozens of games where the evidence is freezing, but it would take me 20 to 30 minutes before it actually drops below 0 degrees. So this evidence, I think, is very difficult for a lot of people right now, but like mechanically it's pretty simple. You just walk into a room and watch the temperature drop. So in this room, it looks like it's stopping at like 7 or 8-ish. So it's dropping further here. So, no, it stopped at around 6. And this is pretty much how you find the ghost room too, is you look for the room where it drops the furthest. Usually if it's below 10 degrees, it's probably the ghost room. So it's interesting that it's still cold in there, but rooms nearby the ghost room are also pretty cold, so it's fair. You can see here it's going right below 0.
Move to the next room.
Very clearly freezing. Very, very clear. That's what it looks like. Sometimes it takes literally half an hour. But here's another evidence type, and this one has some misconceptions I've been seeing on the internet. For example, I've seen people say, oh, you have to be in the dark to see it. That is not true. You can see it with the light on. It's a little harder to see, but you can see it. It's another one kind of like freezing though, where sometimes it just takes forever to get it. God's projector lets us see things the normal light does not. Sometimes using this light will reveal a small flicker into the paranormal world. Several ghost types can be revealed with the dots projector. All you need is to find them. Grab the projector with E, turn it on with use, right click, and aim where you think the ghost may be. If you were seeing a silhouette appear, then you found some evidence. Try to find the ghostly apparition in the room to the left, and then mark it in your journal. See, I feel like we were supposed to get EMF 5 earlier, but for some reason we didn't. Maybe if we went back we would do it, but so this is really how it works. It's just a laser pen, the tier 1 version. It's much better when you get tier 2 and 3. But this is literally how it works, but it's never this easy.
Good job.
It is never this easy. Like, you'll be walking around a room and it might take 10 minutes before you see the dots. So it's actually best to like place it with F. You could place things down with F and rotate it with the mouse, and then you can watch it with a camera in the van. It's much safer and more likely to result in a ghost showing up, especially with tier 2 and 3. But the pen version's not so hot. It's one of the things I think they need to update or change, because for beginning players, using this to get dots, it's so difficult, especially with some ghost types. Anyway, moving on to ghost orbs. This is a very easy evidence to get. It's always works. It's very simple and clear. You grab your video camera. So anyway, the history of ghost orbs is that back in the old days, video cameras and photo cameras, digital and analog, would have artifacts that looked like orbs, and people just assumed that it was because of ghosts, because they didn't understand the technology. But when filming paranormal evidence with a video camera, investigators have found unexplainable flecks of light that slowly drift across their footage. They're called ghost orbs. To find them, grab the video camera, turn on night vision with right click, use. During your contract, you can place the camera with F is place, and view the camera from the feed in the truck. Search around the ghost room and look for any small flecks of light moving around. If you find it, mark it in your journal. Oh, we should probably put the dots in there because we did very automatically see those dots. So if we walk over here, I can actually see it already. Kind of hard to see because they got that light on. But usually you want to turn the lights off to see the dots, because you can see in the video camera here, it's really, really bright when you get the light on in the night vision. But there it is. I don't know if you could see that. Where'd it go? But the ghost orbs do move around. Sometimes they're a little hard to see, but they are specks of dust, basically, little balls, an orb, and they almost always move upwards. Even if it's snow, that one moved down, but even if it's snowing, you can see it goes up. That's how you can determine whether it's a ghost orb or snow, because the orbs go up. They go down too, but the snow does not go up. So if you see it go up, it's pretty much guaranteed to be a ghost orb. Again, this is a very easy evidence piece, but some people just forget to check with the video camera. I've noticed when I was watching some new players on streams, like they just forget to check, or they have the dots on. The dots make it harder to see as well, or they just never turn the light off. So what you really do is, like, easiest way is to just find a surface, place your camera on it, and then go to the van, and you can see it from the van on the camera, which I'll show later. We'll do a live match with beginning items. Alright, so next we have ghost writing. Let me throw... I'm gonna keep that. So, ghost writing. Some paranormal entities will interact with more objects than others. In several reported cases, ghosts have been known to write vague messages in books if left long enough. Get ghost writing evidence, grab the journal, or grab the ghost writing book, the journal, with E, and place it again with F. After some time, the ghost will either throw the book or write in it. For the latter, note the evidence down in your journal. So, if it throws it, it means it cannot be ghost writing. But here's the trick here. I've seen a lot of people just do this. They're like, oh, there's my ghost writing book, and then they never get the evidence. You can't just throw it with G. You actually have to hit F. And you can see the range. That's what that white circle is around here. It's a radius for the range of the ghost writing book. If the ghost walks within that range, it can interact with and write in the book.
Well done.
And that's what it looks like. It literally just scribbles in there. But usually you get an EMF reading on that. I guess you don't do that, get it in tutorial, but you usually also get an EMF reading. So you can get ghost writing and EMF evidence at the same time. And honestly, that's one of the best ways to get EMF 5, because sometimes the ghost will touch like 30 things and you'll never get EMF 5. But if it writes in the book, there's a pretty high chance that if the evidence is EMF 5, it'll show up when it writes in the book. So you can get the book writing while you're not in the house, but I like to be in the house when it happens so I can check the EMF reading if I still need that evidence. And here's another one that has a lot of confusion. The Spirit Box. EVB recorders or spirit boxes are radio devices designed to scan through different frequencies, possibly revealing some paranormal audio amongst the static. To use a spirit box, grab one below, which we did with E, turn it on, right click, and turn it back off for now. Make sure that all the room lights in that area are off. That's the important part, is the lights have to be off, and then you can ask questions. Try asking, where are you? If you get a response, the indicator will flash white, and you should hear a voice that's unique amongst the radio frequencies. If it flashes red, your question was heard, but you did not get a reply. So, it kind of shows you a photo here. It's a little hard to see, but on the right side of the little radio, there's a microphone symbol and a ghost symbol. And a lot of people just get confused with this EMF or spirit box because they just go in and they're like asking random questions, but the game is only programmed to respond to very few questions. Like it said, where are you? What was that? Thought it threw something. So we gotta turn the light off. And then we're gonna ask a question. So that's a good indication that the ghost is nearby, because you do have to be near the ghost. You have to be near the ghost when you use the spirit box. Like, it has to be within a certain range, and the tier 1 is lowest, very low range. So, which we know the ghost is here because it's throwing all this stuff, right? And then we hold V for voice chat. So, speaking of which, right now I am on. Feel like I'm like blind right now. Oh, you can't change the type in here? Okay, so there's like 3 types of. There it is, voice recognition. It's under game for some reason. In here we have the default, I believe, is Vosk voice recognition. So it's a little less accurate than Windows, but or it's slower and less accurate, but I think it works more often for people. So like right here we'll go, are you here? That's one of the questions the ghost can respond to. You can see the microphone, it's white right now. Are you here? And then the ghost symbol turned red. But since I let it go too fast, like watch, are you here? It didn't turn red because I released the voice button too quick. But on Windows, it's so much faster. Are you here? See, it still turned red even though I let go because it detected my voice much quicker. But for Vosk, you have to keep holding the button longer to get a response. And I noticed a lot of people don't do that. Because Vosk, again, I think is the default. Are you here? So I have to hold it. Are you here? It just takes so much longer. Where are you? Are you here? So with this tutorial, I did not actually get a response, which is kind of weird. But there's also text mode, which is the most accurate, and it's like instant. See, that's the response. I don't know why they didn't get it with the voice, but like if you can't get a response with your voice, try changing it to text because it always works. But I use Windows because it seems way faster than Vosk. Are you here? Where are you? Are you friendly? Are you here? Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you friendly? Are you here? Are you here? Where are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? Where are you? Are you here? 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 How old are you? Are you here? Where are you? Are you here? Where are you? Where are you? So, in the tutorial, there's something wrong with the voice activation. It's detecting me, but it's not responding, so... But that's just an issue with the tutorial. That's good to know. So if you can't get a response on the tutorial, switch to text. But in the actual game, it should work fine. So hunting. This is very important information. During contacts, ghosts can initiate an attack on you and your fellow investigators. These attacks have a chance to occur once your sanity has reached an average threshold of 50%, but other ghosts will hunt earlier or later. Depending on the difficulty you're playing, you may have a setup timer. This is normally displayed by a large LED clock in the truck, like the one to the right. It's 5 minutes. This will stop your sanity going below 50% as well as prevent hunts. When a hunt starts, the door will lock and the ghost will start searching for you. Turn off your equipment, hide in a locker, or crouch behind something tall and wait for until it's over. Enter the next room to simulate a hunt. So this is very important. When the front door closes, like just all of a sudden, and it locks when your sanity's low, you'll hear the door lock too. It's probably a hunt. Sometimes the door will close during ghost events, but if you hear the lock, it's a hunt. And when that happens, you want to run to a hiding spot, such as a closet or a locker, with your make sure your flashlight is turned off. Make sure your EMF meter is turned off. Any electronics have to be completely off, like otherwise the ghost will find you. That's pretty much how most people die, is they forget to turn their flashlight off or something. Another important thing though is that if the ghost sees you when you go into a hiding spot, for example, if the ghost is like in a living room and there's a hallway connected to the living room and there's a closet in that hallway and you run into that closet when the ghost is behind you, the ghost knows you went into the closet because he saw you. You're gonna die still. You have to break line of sight with the ghost and then hide. So usually you want to go like around a corner or into a room and then into a closet within that room, or one around the corner. You just have to break line of sight first, otherwise it's pointless. So if we go in here,
Something's not quite right.
it's starting to hunt.
Quickly.
The lights are flickering. And there's the ghost running around. We hide in this locker.
That was a close one.
This
Congratulations
is a very funny simulation.
You can exit the truck by interacting with the keypad.
Very funny simulation of a hunt.
Something's not quite right. You better hide. Quickly.
During the hunt, this thing will go crazy. That's funny. So we never got the EMF 5, but like I said, it'll go all the way to the end when it is. I wonder if we can do it in Tanglewood. This is just gonna go on forever, isn't it? So let's go do Tanglewood with what do you call it? Our items, level 1.
Welcome back. I've prepared some jobs for you.
I would like to simulate the noob experience. So we're gonna go to beginner mode. It's actually called amateur. I kept calling it beginner. We're gonna go in with only the absolute beginner items, so I can show you what it actually looks like. This is better anyway, honestly. The tier 1 thermometer is the best thermometer. I think that's everything. Yeah, tier 1 everything. So we're gonna go into Tanglewood. Just the map everyone plays more than anything. So tutorial, live version. So you grab the key again. I just did that by habit. So we can't actually do most of these objectives because we don't have incense and we do not have firelight, which is like candles and such. We don't have that because this is beginner items only. So we're gonna go in And the way I recommend doing it, like obviously for beginners, they'll try and bring the flashlight, but I don't recommend the flashlight just because it doesn't get evidence, right? So I always recommend UV stick, EMF, and thermometer. So we check, first thing you do is you check to see where the breaker is. So it doesn't actually really matter so much in beginner mode or amateur. But knowing where it is good, because if it turns the breaker off, you can just go right to it. But on amateur mode, the power is on, whereas on higher difficulties, you have to get to the breaker before, because the power is off when you start. But here, like, we don't need a flashlight. You can just turn these lights on. So the first thing we do is we check we look for hiding spots. We have 5 minutes in this mode of safety. So it's good to know where the hiding spots are. There's a light switch here. So on amateur mode, every closet is available to hide in, but on higher difficulties, some of these will be blocked with like garbage and storage stuff. So also, again, we don't want to turn too many lights on at the same time, but I always leave the beginning or the entrance lights on because you're going to go through here all the time. So I always leave them on. But when you go into a room, did you hear that? The ghost just like hit a switch or something. It did it moved something somewhere. So that's actually key to like this entire game, is to listen. And that's one of the things that makes multiplayer harder, is because there's so many people talking and moving around. But so usually what you do though, like if you can't hear anything happening, the best way to find the ghost room, the favorite room, is the thermometer. So here we can see it's really warm and it's not moving down. Turn the light off when we leave. We can't have too many lights on. Trip the breaker. Turn the light on when we go in. It's not moving. You want to give it like 3 or 4 seconds to start moving, to make sure. There's nothing happening there. It actually just touched this locker, or this closet. So when you hear a door touch like that, you pull out your EMF reader. This is giving me a 2. And then we check it for UV. And there's nothing. So for most ghosts, you can say, oh, there's no ultraviolet, you can cross it off. But there is one ghost, the Obake, who can hide the fingerprints sometimes. So usually you want to check it 2 or 3 times before you rule it out completely. We just heard a phone. We heard a phone go off, vibrate. Check EMF. You go where you hear things. So again, this is EMF 2, 3? Somewhere between there. I think it's 2. A little hard to read on this one. Let's check the temperature. You see, it's not in this room. Even though it activated that phone, the temperature is too hot to go to the favorite room. But what happened there is the ghost either wandered in there, or it might have activated it through the wall if it's in the living room here. Look at that. The temperature is dropping pretty quickly. So this is the favorite room. We can just drop that there. It should be noted, I guess, that the living room actually starts right here where the hallway ends. And I'm pretty sure it's also right in front here. We can confirm that with the thermometer. Yes. So this is part of the living room, and it goes all the way over to here. So right up to here is the living room. And that is a ghost event. That is called the airball ghost event. And if that thing were to hit me, it'd make a loud hissing noise. But if you see that, you can actually, this is like an advanced thing, but you can actually say that it's not an Oni, because Onis cannot do that. And that is a red room ghost event. It doesn't really do anything, but it drains your sanity. So it is not good. And certain ghosts do events more often than others. One of those being the Oni. But again, they can't do that airball ghost event, so that's something useful to know. If you have trouble identifying the ghost, it's like if it does something, because every ghost is unique in a lot of ways, and that's how the Oni is unique. One of the ways the Oni is unique is that it cannot do the airball event. So if we assume that there's no fingerprints there, this is already lowering our possible ghosts by quite a lot, right? So we need to go back outside to the van and grab some more items to help figure out what this ghost is. And since we kept the lights on, we stayed in the lights, our sanity is still basically 100%. And even though we've already ran out of time, we're still pretty much safe from every ghost except a demon who can hunt at any time. But like the tutorial said, most ghosts hunt at 50% sanity or lower. And there are a few exceptions. So I'm gonna grab the ghost writing book, the camera, and the dots, because these are harder evidences to get. The dots in the writing book. Because the writing book can sometimes take a while. It's not too bad now. It used to be much worse in the older patches, but it's very quick nowadays. Like, you can see it covers almost this whole room. And this is still tier 1. Usually you can get the ghost writing book within 2 or 3 minutes. So here, we need to put this somewhere. Like, we can turn the light off and we can like walk around with this, which I believe is the intended method, is based off what the tutorial was telling us, right? But again, you could be here for 10-20 minutes doing this and not get anything before it finally shows it something. So usually it's best to like put it on a shelf somewhere and like aim it, and then here's what we're gonna do. We just heard a door touch. We're gonna right click to activate this UV light, and we're gonna check all the doors in here, even though they're closed. Sometimes the ghost doesn't actually open the door, it just touches it. There's no fingerprints, so again, it's pretty much guaranteed to not be UV evidence. And oh, look at that. Look at that. You can click on that to turn it off, the UV, dots. That is a ghost orb. It's a very fast ghost orb too. Look at them go. A little hard to see on this tiny camera, but that's a ghost orb. And it's throwing a lot of stuff here. So I don't know what it threw. It might have been in the next room over. But we're gonna check in here. I think it threw that hat, but we're too late. Because again, you only have 20 seconds to check. And we just happened to be too late. So he's like, again, this is the favorite room, the living room, but because that room is so close, it's also checking or walking into that room. But anyway, we have ghost orb. I'm gonna put this camera here, turn the dots back on, and let's check the temperature again. It's still not freezing. It's like 3 or 4 degrees. But that doesn't rule it out, because it just might take a long time to get freezing. There's no ghost writing yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these lights off, because they kind of bleed into the living room. And we're going to go check our camera and see if we can get dots. So this is our camera. If you left click on the keyboard, you can turn on the night vision. You click on the mouse, you can change to your video camera. The dots position might be bad. I can't really see it too well. I'm gonna move the dots Positioning is key. Oh, let's grab the spirit box while we're at it. Because it's amateur mode, we barely lost any sanity. On higher difficulties, it drains much quicker. But let's try the spirit box. What do we have for evidence? Ghost orb? We should mark that down earlier. And that's it, right? Just ghost orb. Oh, we gotta leave the light off. So we see our breath because the room's below 5 degrees. It does not mean freezing. It used to mean freezing in older versions of the game, but now it just means the room's below 5 degrees. Let's try spirit box. Are you here? Where are you?
Right here.
See? It works in the real game, even though it didn't work in the tutorial. He's right here. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
An elderly victim.
Alright, so he threw some things too, which again is interesting. Here, it's okay. Apparently it's buggy. It was not giving me a reading for a second, but hey, look at that. It's freezing now. So like I said, it just takes a while sometimes. So what we have here is an Onryo. Because we have our 3 evidence pieces in there. You just click on them and that shows you which ghost it is. We had ghost orb, we had spirit box, we have freezing temperature. That is an Onryo. Onryo, they can be scary because if they blow out 3 candles, they will do a hunt at any % sanity. But we don't even have candles, so it's nothing to worry about right now. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's basic Phasmophobia. It's like, you go in, you check the temperature of the rooms, find the coolest room, and just listen for the ghost to do things. Place your items. We didn't get any ghost writing, but we would have if that was evidence. You only get 3 evidence pieces. We got them all. Took a little bit of time. This ghost is a little difficult because he was roaming around a lot. But luckily, we did get the freezing temps decently quick. The spirit box responded. And the ghost orb was very, very clear. There's the ghost orb. And that's pretty much all you need to do is just always check when you hear things. Like, listening is the key to Phasmophobia, really. Especially if it's like higher difficulty. You want to keep an ear out for if the ghost is hunting, if your sanity's low enough. Or maybe the ghost is doing things in another room. Because, you know, there's a ghost called the Twins. He can do things across the house. So, yeah, like, it's pretty simple. Just turn the, there's, you know, like I said, there's some misconceptions. Like, the spirit box is kind of the big one I've been seeing where people like ask it random questions, but it'll only respond to like, where are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? How old are you? Are you old? Are you young? Like, there's a very specific set of questions that it can respond to. So, like, watching the indicator on the spirit box is important. But, and the dots, those can just take forever. I was kind of hoping we'd get a dots ghost, just to showcase how long it can take and what it looks like. But again, the main thing is to just listen. But let's do one more because I want to try and see if we can get an EMF 5 just so I can show what the EMF 5 looks like on the tier 1 EMF reader, because it confuses a lot of people. So let's see if we can do that. Maybe we'll get lucky and even get a dots ghost.
All right, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly.
Try and speed run it. I'm gonna grab these again, these three. Again, we're safe from anything for 5 minutes. The ghost cannot hurt us for 5 minutes on amateur mode. Lights are already on. It's warming up. It's not in the foyer. It's still warming up. It's not in the boys' bedroom. Still warming up. Not in the bathroom. And again, I'm keeping my ears open in case the ghost does something somewhere else. Let's just grab this bone. That's actually a hiding spot too. Like you can hide behind here like this, which is kind of what it said in the tutorial. Crouch behind something tall. Like even though it seems like the ghost can see you through here, it can't. It's a really good hiding spot. Unless you make a noise. Yeah, let's see if it's in the living room again. Nope, it's staying 20 degrees. I find it easier to use Celsius in this game just because it's a little simple. It's like 0 degrees is freezing. So that only matters on the higher tier thermometers. It's not in here. Oh, while I'm at it, I should mention these back rooms, this closet and this bathroom, are part of the same room, this bedroom. They're all connected as one room. As far as the favorite room is concerned, it is all one room. Let's check the kitchen. I think I just heard it in the garage. Not in here. Not in here. Turn those lights off when we leave. Like utility closet. Most people call this utility closet. You can also call it laundry room. Everyone will know what you're talking about. Not in here. Let's check the garage. This is a basement ghost, actually. So here's the breaker, by the way. You gotta open it with interact, left click, and then drag left. But this is a basement ghost because it is not called anywhere else. As soon as we step in the stairs, watch. It's dropping, see? This is a basement ghost. Let's throw this on the ground. Check UV. The fingerprints in the basement can be on these coolers. It'll touch these coolers and leave fingerprints on them. I believe, oh, there's no breaker here. Sometimes the breaker spawns down here, and I think the door can also have fingerprints on it if the ghost touches it. And this is a hiding spot, by the way. Again, it's always good to know where your hiding spots are. But if the ghost sees you go into there, it's useless. So it just touched this, and we actually have fingerprints. Look at that. Ultraviolet confirmed. And let's check the EMF. EMF 3. 2, 3? Somewhere between 2 and 3. This EMF reader is not as accurate as the other ones. So another thing we're gonna do, this is another tactic I like to use, because sometimes it's hard to get your EMF readings, is I find objects nearby, and I just stack them into a pile right by the EMF meter, so that the ghost doesn't have to like run around the room looking for stuff. It'll just be right here. And it'll touch something over here eventually. So let's go get the other stuff now. Or hold on a minute. So it's rocking that chair. And check EMF on that. So again, you gotta listen for the ghost to do things. And that time it decided to rock the chair, sit on the chair. That was EMF 2 or 3. It's probably 2 because EMF 3 is throw. When it throws an object, it's EMF 3. So that's, I think that was an EMF 2. Let's check the thermometer real quick. It's still 3 or 4 degrees, not freezing yet. But it still might be freezing evidence. It's just, again, sometimes it takes a little bit of time or forever. And then we're not gonna bother with the flashlight. We don't need it. It's amateur mode. So, and we're gonna leave the camera for now. It's amateur mode, so the only things we need, wait, no we're not. Here we are. So the only things we need are the evidence gathering items. We don't need a flashlight because we can see. We right click to turn this on. If we're lucky, we'll actually get a dots ghost today. So again, this thing is so much harder to see. EMF 2. It says 3, 2 to 3. Look, it looks like 3, but it's gotta be 2. There's the fingerprint. So again, G is to throw, by the way. Look at the temperature. It's at like 1 degree. So it might never go below that, or we might be very close to freezing. I think it's gonna go under. It looks like it. Yeah, it's right under 0. We're getting lucky, honestly. Like, usually it takes me a lot longer to get freezing. So that's freezing. Oh god, we might die. This is a demon. So I'm gonna actually put this here. If it writes in that, I'm running away. Because a demon can hunt at any percentage. Are you here? Where are you? How old are you? Are you friendly? Where are you? How old are you? Are you friendly? Are you here? Where are you? EMF 4. I don't think. We're gonna place this like right over here. We're gonna aim it that way. Now I need to get that video camera. I hope we have some time left, but I haven't been keeping track. If the 5 minutes is over, we have no safety, and this demon can kill us at any time. We are out of time. I'm actually gonna grab the flashlight now, in case it turns the light off. Demon, Hantu, Jinn, Mimic. Oh, Mimic. If there's a ghost orb, it's a Mimic. Or a Hantu. A Mimic would have also had Spirit Box, so... We're lucky it's not a demon. There's a ghost orb. There is a ghost orb. So we're not going to get EMF 5, but it might be a Mimic, so what we need to do... We'll do one more game after this, just to try and get an EMF 5 game. Oh, I kind of want to put this somewhere higher up. Here, we'll put it over here. Put it this way. Like that. And then I need to get the spirit box to see if this is a mimic. Is the mimic, it has a fake ghost orb. The reported ghost orb sightings near mimics, but their evidence is spirit box, ultraviolet, and freezing. So we have ultraviolet, freezing. We don't have spirit box, but we do have a ghost orb. So it's either a Hantu or a mimic. Are you here? Where are you? Are you friendly? How old are you? Are you here? Where are you? How old are you? Are you friendly? Where are you? See, it's turning red, so that means it's detecting us, but it's not responding. Where are you? How old are you? Are you friendly? Are you here? Are you here? Where are you? Are you friendly? Alright, so we checked a little bit there. It's like, I don't know how many times I just used the spirit box, but it never responded. So it's fairly safe to assume that it's a Hantu. And we'll come back one more time and hopefully get an EMF 5 ghost. Always make sure you have it in. So luckily it was actually a haunt too. The spirit box was working correctly. All right, let's go back in. Remove all the other items. And pray that we get an EMF 5 ghost. Let's go in. The same thing. Same. Oh, what did I pick up that I don't need? Spirit box. We have 5 minutes. I'm gonna run. That noise was me accidentally hitting the shelf. It's not in here. First item is the music box, though. Not in here. 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 Breaker's still upstairs. Oh, you can hide in those lockers, by the way. Is this another basement ghost? It is. I just heard him throw something. So we're gonna run down there as fast as we can with our EMF. He threw this hammer. Look at that. See how it's going beyond the 5? That was EMF. I see right there. EMF 5. That's how you confirm it. Like, it has to go beyond the 5, not just to the 5. Like, sometimes EMF 4 will go a little bit over the 4, and people think it's 5. But EMF 5 will actually go above the 5 like that one just did. And I turned that off. We don't need it anymore. We're gonna leave this on the floor, let it cool down. Check the coolers for UV. Nothing yet, but we don't know that it touched it, because we didn't hear it touch it. So we're not sure. But always good to just check in case you didn't hear something. This is the UV prints I forgot to mention. I'm surprised the tutorial doesn't mention it. But on all the normal difficulties, it lasts 2 minutes. 120 seconds. To see the fingerprints. Whereas the footprints only last like 5-10 seconds or something. I don't know. But they don't last very long. They're not that super reliable. But you have to have salt to see the footprints anyway, so you're usually gonna be there. It just touched the cooler. I heard it. Look at this. Yeah, look at that. You see it just skyrocket to the end? EMF 5 very clearly. That's what it looks like. I'm glad we finally got that on tape. So it touched the cooler too. So I don't see fingerprints, so I kind of want to rule that out. Honestly, normally I get sad when we have a spirit, but that would be like one of our best options right now. Because it's such a nice ghost. It's so easy. And no, if it's a Raiju, we're dead. Hopefully no ghost orb. But let me go check. Oh, it's kind of warm still. Oh, I didn't put this down. Don't do what I did. Don't throw the Rose Writing Book down. Place it down with F. Let's check for ghost orbs. If there's ghost orbs, we are dead. Thank God. Alright, I don't see a ghost orb. It can be Spirit Box. I'm gonna place this here. Like that. The UV light actually gives quite a lot of light. UV stick. So, let's go get the Spirit Box. Turn this light off, we don't need it. So next we're gonna do no ghost orb. That protects us from Raiju. The reason why I don't want it to be a Raiju is because they're really fast when electronics are nearby, but they can also hunt at only 65% sanity when electronics are nearby. I don't think we're gonna get that low, but it still makes me feel a lot better. Like, Raiju stress me out. They're scary. Oh, did I have the spirit box in there? Or did I, no, it's right there. It's camouflaging. Don't let it do that. We're gonna try. Spirit box. So I did cross off UV, but it might be an Obake. If we turn... Oh no, Obake's got ghost orbs, so it's probably not. Unless I just didn't see the ghost orb. Are you here? Where are you? How old are you? The red light's not coming on, it's not detecting me. Are you here? Where are you? How old are you? Are you friendly? Are you here? Where are you? Are you friendly? Are you here? Where are you? How old are you? I don't think it's spirit box. Let's check the temperature. Not freezing yet. So we can do a little bit of guesswork here. If we say it's not spirit box and it's not freezing, then we got something wrong. So it's probably going to be freezing. The question is now, is it ghost writing or is it dots? Yeah, look, the freezing temperature. And there we go. Freezing temperature confirmed. Again, it just takes some time. So it's a little sad if it's ghost writing, because I kind of wanted to show dots, but it's probably going to be ghost writing. It could be UV still. What we're going to do is we're going to sit around here. Oh, there, no, it's ghost writing. So that's like the shade. It's just like the easiest ghost because they can't hunt until 35% sanity. And they generally don't do things when people are nearby. And we kind of got lucky there. We're getting lots of EMF. And it even wrote in the journal when we were in the same room. So shades can do things when you're in the same room with them. They're just more unlikely to. They also will do airball ghost events more often than other ghosts. And other ghost events less often. This video is not a in-depth tutorial about what the ghost can do. Just thought I'd mention that since we happen to get a shade. But I really was hoping we'd get into Dot's ghost, but we saw what they looked like in the tutorial. They usually walk towards you though, rather than just standing still like in the tutorial. The ghost will show up as these green silhouettes and walk right towards you. And they're much easier to see with the lights off. And also through night vision. So that's why I placed it down. I placed it like what, right here? I can't see that, I think it's blocked. So it's much easier to see when it's placed and then through a camera. But anyway, I'm glad I managed to show the EMF 5 and hopefully clear up some misconceptions, especially for the spirit box. Yeah, this camera just is not good. It's a lot easier to see at the higher tier cameras. But it's not an EMF or it's not a dots ghost, so anyway. basically, again, final too long didn't watch is ears. Always listen to what's going on. It'll save your life, but it'll also help you find the ghost faster.
Welcome back. I've prepared
And
some jobs for
also,
you.
the temperature is the thermometer is overpowered for finding the room to begin with. So hopefully this video will help some newer players understand how to do the basic investigation a little more. There's obviously sub-objectives that are a little more involved, but that's not something to worry about when you're just trying to figure out what the ghost is. And that's all we're trying to do today, is just figure out what the ghost is, and we did that. Again, just listen to what's going on around you and you will find the ghost, especially on these smaller maps. Larger maps are a whole other story, and I do not recommend playing them by yourself unless you are like really good at the game. But as a beginner player, stick with these small maps such as Tanglewood, Willow Street. Edgefield's a little small too. It's not too bad. These two maps, basically these three and Willow, are pretty okay for soloing. And then all these top maps are great for multiplayer. Bleedsdale is okay. Camp Woodwind is good. But this Maple Lodge, Prison, Sunny Meadows, these maps in high school, they're really, really big, and I wouldn't recommend them for beginner players. I wouldn't even recommend Sunny Meadows Restricted for beginner players. Sunny Meadows Restricted is a small version of Sunny Meadows, but it's still a very difficult map comparatively. So if you're just trying to learn the game, I really just recommend doing Tanglewood over and over. It's the best map in the game, and it's very simple layout, easy to remember. And you saw how quickly I got through those rooms with a thermometer. You could find the ghosts rather quick in any difficulty. And you can hear pretty much everything going on in the house, except sometimes what's in the basement's a little hard to hear. But if you hear nothing, you generally assume it's in the basement as well. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful video. I don't really make videos like this, but just saw so many misconceptions when watching Phasmophobia streams lately. There's people saying stuff like, you know, you have to have the lights off for the dots. That is not true. What were some other ones I saw? Oh, it's people throwing the book down with G and saying, oh, that's good enough. No, you have to place it with F. Someone else mentions you won't get hunted as long as your sanity is above 50%. Again, that's not true either. It's like most ghosts are 50% hunters, but there's a lot that hunt at 60 or 65. Even will hunt at 70 with it, and sometimes even at 100%. The only time you're safe is when that first 5 minutes on amateur mode. Talking, someone says talking attracts the monsters. Yeah, it does, but don't use voice to talk in this game, because even if you breathe, the ghost will hear you. Use push to talk, and you will not die when you talk, unless you push the button. Don't use dots unless you've already found the room. Some people say use dots to find the room. No, dots can take forever to even get a result, even when you know what the room is. Use dot. Find the room first. Finding the favorite room is the most important thing you can do right away, besides hiding spots. But on amateur mode, hiding spots are everywhere. So find a hiding spot, find the favorite room. Those are like the two priorities in any difficulty. And then after you find the room with the temperature gauge or ghost orb or other means of finding the room, like, then you could put the dots, but dots are not for finding the room. And they, what else? Oh, I didn't address the EMF, the activity board, did I? So there's I gotta go back in. We'll go back in. I'm gonna get my high tier items. You know, we'll even do the tier 3 thermometer, even though it's not that good. Here, let's go in. Oh, it's still amateur. Whoops. So, some people were saying that when this activity board goes up to 10, that means the EMF 5. That is not true whatsoever in any world. There is an indication that it is EMF 5 though, and that's if you see a jump from 0 to 5. Like some people say 4, but it is sometimes 4 will be an EMF 5, but it's not as reliable. But if you see it jump from like 0 to 5, that might be an EMF 5. It's not guaranteed because it could be a ghost event or a ghost ability. But if you see it multiple times, like if you see, for example, a 0 to 5 at some point, and then later on you see like a 1 to 6 or a 5 to 10, you just see it multiple times, that interval, then it probably is an EMF 5, but it is not ever really guaranteed to be EMF 5. It's just something you can assume, and you should always actually check the meter. It's always best to actually check the meter. But if you're playing on higher difficulties, that is a decently reliable way, is if you see it multiple times. I'm pretty sure I just heard it throw something to the right. Another method of finding the ghost is to just know, like when you play the game enough, if you know what the rooms look like, look at that. If you know what the like how the items are organized, then you'll notice when things are not in the right place. So usually it's either in the kitchen, the living room, or the hallway when it touches this door. But the temperatures are way too high. And this is why the tier 1's really good. As a tier 1, you'll come in here and you'll be like, oh, the meter's going down, and you'll know. But you can see with the tier 3, the temperature is pretty much the same everywhere, around 20 degrees. So where is this ghost? He could be roaming from far away. If this is a basement ghost, it would be really weird. It is. There's EMF 5. That is so strange that it went all the way upstairs. That's probably not a Goryo. Because Goryos don't roam that far. So you could see here, we had a 0 to 4. That's probably the EMF 5 from the rocking chair. And then That's what I was talking about. Like sometimes it shows 0 to 5, sometimes it's 0 to 4. It's not entirely reliable. I forgot to throw that down. Why do I keep getting basement ghosts? Yeah, but because like, see, Goryo's, again, I'm not trying to like give an advanced information guide on ghost types because that's a little complex, but Goryo's usually don't roam very far. And that ghost roamed all the way upstairs, which is kind of weird. There's no dangerous ghost here, though. I really want to see the EMF meter some more, or the activity board. I'm gonna try and make the ghost do more stuff. So with the higher tier cameras, we can rotate them. It's much easier to see as well, compared to the tier 1. Trying to see if there's ghost orbs anywhere, but I don't see any. Zero to 3, probably not an EMF 5. So let's check. Oh, see? This is what I'm talking about. It turned the power off. That can't be a Jinn. Jinns can't turn power off. So this is the situation in which we find the breaker, which is apparently in the basement. I should have looked at the map. Always good to look at the map to know where the breaker is. That's an EMF 5, and it actually wrote in the book, so it's a myling. Wait. Oh, I hit that one. I was confused. So let's see if we can get to the activity board before it disappears, but it should be either 0 to 4 jump or 0 to 5 jump. And we made it in time. That's a 0 to 5. So again, that's a not always an indicator, but it's a very good chance that it is EMF 5. Though I honestly, 0 to 4 is sometimes not, but almost always 0 to 5 is EMF 5. But sometimes it can be like a poltergeist throwing multiple items at the same time. A poltergeist does not get EMF 5, but it might throw an object for an EMF 3, and it might throw another object for EMF 2. It should be 3. But that's how it is. Like sometimes you can just get EMF 5, or not EMF 5, activity 5 on a poltergeist. It happened to me just the other day when we were doing the weekly challenge. Yeah, so that's what the activity board looks like. That's all I wanted to show here at the end. Is that the misconception is that if it's activity 10, it's EMF 5. That's not related at all. Activity 10 is almost always a ghost event or a hunt. Or many events at the same time. Like if you have, like for example, an Oni is a very active ghost. If you have an Oni that throws like 3 or 4 things within a short time frame, you might see EMF 10. Like right here, we just got EMF 1, or we got activity 1. I keep saying EMF when I mean activity. But we got activity 1, and then it spiked all the way up to 5 from 1. That may be an EMF 5, but it could just be an EMF 3, and something got thrown. Like these don't exactly correlate to the EMF level. It's just activity strength. Like it could also spike from that 5 all the way up to 10 if it did a ghost event or if it threw more things. Like you can't really rely on this to gauge the EMF level. It's just a misconception that's all over the internet right now. It's just a good indicator is 0 to 5 or 1 to 6 or 2 to 7, 3 to 8, 4 to 9, 5 to 10. Has to be that interval. That interval of 5 there. That's the only indication. Again, 4, sometimes it's EMF 5 when you only see a 0 to 4. But that's far less reliable than 0 to 5. Anyway. This is a lot longer than I meant it to be. So we did have some trouble getting the EMF 5 ghost. We never did get the dots ghost. I wish we did, but unfortunately I'm out of time. So maybe I'll make another video showcasing the dots ghost or something, but hopefully I cleared up the misconceptions that I've been seeing around lately, and if I see more, I'll try and clear those up as well. But yeah, I hope this video helps some new players actually complete a investigation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you guys in another video or stream. Bye bye.